The sky was still streaked with pink when the birds outside Maria's window broke into their usual noisy chorus. She squinted at her alarm clock, 6:47 a.m., and groaned. She had overslept by 12 minutes. Downstairs, her sons Jake and Eli were already halfway through a chaotic breakfast of dry cereal and chocolate milk. Mom, can I wear my ninja shirt today? Eli called with his mouth full. Only if it's clean, she replied, fumbling for her coffee pot with one hand and tying her hair up with the other. Maria was used to chaos. Ever since her husband had walked out on her 4 years ago, she had carried every responsibility: meals, homework, bath times, and bills, all on her back. It wasn't easy, but she clung tightly to two things: her faith in God and the routine prayer that had become her daily anchor. Lord, go before me and behind me. Guide my steps today, even if they don't go where I planned. Little did she know how literal that prayer would become. By 7:48 a.m., the boys were on the bus, waving from the back window, and Maria had exactly 18 minutes to make it across town to her job. She pulled onto her usual shortcut, Maple Avenue, the fastest and most direct route, only to slam on her brakes. Barricades, orange cones, a sign, road closed, utility work. What in the world? She mumbled. There had been no warning, no construction notices. The road she'd taken every weekday for 3 years was now completely blocked off. Her heart began to race. If she took the detour, she'd be at least 15 minutes late. Her boss, Mr. Cummings, had already warned her that tardiness sets a tone, and she reached for her phone thinking of texting in, but something inside, a gentle nudge in her gut, whispered, "Go the long way." She sighed, "Okay, Lord, but this better be for something." She turned onto Old Hollow Road, a winding back route she hadn't driven in years. Its faded fences, crumbling mailboxes, and leaning telephone poles carried a quiet beauty that modern life rarely allowed her to notice. To her left, an open pasture glowed gold in the morning sun. Cows grazed lazily under a giant oak. To her right, a small wooden chapel stood at the top of a hill, its white steeple worn by time, but still pointing confidently toward heaven. As she drove, she rolled her window down. The scent of fresh pine and a trace of wood smoke drifted in. It felt like her grandmother's porch in the mountains, a place where peace once lived. Then, out of nowhere, a memory surfaced. She was 15 again, singing with her church choir, her voice trembling but pure. You are my hiding place. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Tears came without asking. God, she whispered, thank you. Even in delays, you meet me here. Maria finally pulled into the clinic parking lot, eyes still misty from the quiet encounter on the road. But something was wrong. Flashing lights, a crowd, police tape. She stepped out of the car slowly and heard the words before she could ask. A truck ran a red light, crushed the car coming down Maple. The driver didn't make it. Time froze. She looked at her watch. 8:03 a.m. That was her intersection. That was her exact route. That was her time. Her knees weakened. She leaned against her car, heart pounding as she stared at the wreckage in the distance. Jesus, you detoured me to save me. That evening, as she tucked her sons into bed, she didn't tell them the full story. Not yet. Instead, she leaned close and whispered to Jake, "Hey, buddy, sometimes we don't get our way. It's because God sees something we don't." Jake furrowed his brow. "Like when I didn't get to ride my bike past the sidewalk." She smiled. "Exactly like that. Except sometimes it's not about what we can't do. It's about what God's protecting us from." Jake nodded. "Cool. That means God is like a superhero, huh?" She kissed his forehead. "The best kind. The kind that doesn't always show up with a cape, but always shows up." The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Psalm 121, verse 8. You know, sometimes the most frustrating interruptions in your life are actually God's interventions. Trust the detour. It might be the very thing that saves your life. God bless you, my friends.